in a very small area of our body. And if I were to lead you through the rest of the face, through the ears, the scalp, even the rest of the body, we'd find that there are many areas where we can locate stuck energy. Now, if you imagine that we have energy pathways all throughout our body, not just on the surface where we can actually palpate and find them, but internally, these energetic pathways run all through our body. Imagine what stuck energy blocks are in those meridians, the inner ones that we can't reach and palpate with our fingers or our fingertips or thumbs. Each of those energy pathways is tied to an internal organ. Each of those pathways are also tied to a certain batch or group of emotions. For example, the lung meridians for the lung energy have to do with grief, sadness, sorrow, loneliness, despair, depression. So if we have had any times in our life where we have experienced those emotions to any degree, and we find that certain memories or certain moments can bring that energy back and it recurs for us with that same intensity or same power of emotion with that charge and stay there in a prolonged period of time rather than just a wave of emotion that moves through us, then that's a sign of stuck energy there. Moving lung energy helps us process the emotions of that group of emotions that we talked about. The energy of the liver organ and that meridian has to do with anger, frustration, irritation, annoyance, resentment, envy, jealousy. Any arisings of those types of emotions are liver energy. And when we don't process those emotions and we get kind of stuck a little bit in a rut, like anger or annoyance, something happens and it really bugs you and it sticks with you for a good while rather than just being able to move through and go on with the rest of your day. For example, I have a doctor that we just did sessions with, and he'd say, I can have a wonderful day with all my patients. And then right at the end of the day is this one patient who gets under my skin, and then it ruins his evening. The rest of his day is gone. He said he'll go home in a bad mood. He's sitting through dinner with his family in a bad mood when the rest of the day was perfectly fine. There is an example there where the emotional charge of a certain event gets stuck in the body and we hang on to that rather than letting it flow through. There is nothing wrong with being angry. There is nothing wrong with being sad or agitated or envious or jealous, as long as it's not an emotion that stays for a prolonged period of time and then ends up zapping our energy. There's the difference. All these groups of emotions are important to feel because they direct us through our day and they actually bring us to a point of action. Our emotions lead and guide us to whatever action might be the next best for us to take the next step. But if they're emotions that stick, that charge of them hangs around for a good while and then disables us from making the decisions that are best for us, or disables us from being able to move on with the rest of the day, that's where we have some stuck energy. We have something holding on there. We have something blocking a healthy flow, because emotions are wonderful guides, terrible masters. So that's what we want to avoid, is the charge of emotions having master power over us, actually ruling us, rather than us using our own power to rule over the emotions and use them as guides.